Hello and welcome to another rendition of Math is Easy Step by Step. So in the last video we went over the rules for adding and subtracting fractions. And remember, those rules are different than multiplying and dividing fractions, which in my opinion are dramatically easier. We will go over that soon. Here's another example, although we're subtracting. So the main rules apply. You need to have a common denominator, that's the same bottom number, before we can add or subtract the numerator, which are the top numbers here. So 2/3 minus 1/12. Now, can you estimate what number both 3 and 12 would share? What would be the common denominator here in this example? If you can't do that, you really should work. I advise you to work on your multiplication tables. There's multiplication tables you can find online with a 12 by 12 on one side and answers on the other side. You could test yourself kind of like a flashcard. So you can 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 3 is 3, etc., etc., until you have a very good grasp of your multiplication skills. And so here we got a 3 and a 2. First step, let's find that least common multiple. Let's find that number that we can multiply into both the 12 and 3 that would give us a common denominator. So I don't know what the common denominator here is for this particular problem. So I'm going to set up a t-chart with both 3 and 12. I'm going to multiply 1 through 10 or 1 through 20 with each of these common denominators to show me what they both share. And so here I'm just setting this up for you now as I multiplied 1 through 10 before we get into step number 2. So, of course, 3 and 12 of our common denominators. I'm going to multiply each of these times 1, times 2, times 3, times 4, all the way down to 10. And don't worry if you don't have your multiplication tables memorized, you can use your calculator. So 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 9 is 3, on and on and on. And I'm going to multiply 12 times each of these. 12 times 1 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. Times 3 is 36. And I'm going to do this with both numbers until I can find the least common multiple for each terms. Well, I can see they both share 24 and 12. So which one is the smallest, 24 or 12? I'm looking for the least common denominator, which here would show 12. And the least common multiple for 3 would be 3 times 4 is 12. And for 12, 12 times 1 is 12. So I'm going to multiply both top and bottom by the least common multiple. And you will see that here in step number 2. Step 2, we're multiplying both top and bottom by the least common multiple. Again, for 3, if you look on the chart, 3 times 4 is 12. What I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So 3 times 4 is 12. 2 times 4 is 8. Minus the least common multiple for 12, since 12 is our common denominator, is 1. I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 1, which gives me 1/12. Step 3. You can see here. Again, let me raise this up here. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 4 is 8. 3 times 4 is 12. Minus 1 times 1 is 1. And 1 times 12 is 12. So we have the same common denominator. That's the bottom number. Then we can just focus on the numerator, 8 minus 1. Sometimes I struggle with my addition and subtraction, so I try to think of it like money. Hey, I got $8 minus $1 gives me $7. And remember, that denominator stays the same. So if it common denominator is 12 in the problem, then the common denominator will be 12 in my answer. If this video was too fast for you, go ahead and stop, rewind, watch it again. I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember, math is easy, taking it step by step.